Hey lovelies, thanks for stopping by. If you clicked on this video, you must love brushes as much as I do, and you probably love BK Beauty as much as I do as well. I was very excited that they sent over the brand new Core Trio. Very excited to try these out. If you are not new to my channel, you will know that I am Team Small Brush all the way, and so I was really excited to see that most of these are shapes that we know and love from the brand, made in a smaller package. So I cannot wait to share these with you. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist, and here on my channel I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. But in today's video, we are going to be doing a first impressions of this set. You're going to see me apply my makeup with these. I'm going to be comparing these to the other brushes from BK Beauty that are similar, and I'm going to give you all my honest thoughts. I will say I do have a discount code with the brand, which is KEEPBEAUTYREAL, and I will have my affiliate link down below if you find that this video is helpful and you do decide to purchase from BK Beauty. That would help me out. If not, that's okay. Let me know down below though what your favorite BK Beauty brush is, because I love the brush convo so much, all the brushes. We're gonna dive in very soon. I just quickly wanted to mention to you that this set right now retails for $95. Now you can use, again, my discount code. That would take off an additional 10% to save you some cash. If you're on there, grab one of the lipsticks that's on clearance right now. I love those lipsticks and they're going away, so grab one of those too. Now this trio does come packaged really cute in a box, so if you're looking for easy giftables, this is super easy to gift wrap. I am just saying. We have the 114 dual-sided concealer, the 115 medium contoured foundation, and the 116 small round complexion brush. Now, while these are only available right now in this trio, they will be available to purchase individually next year. So not too far into next year is what the brand said. So if you are one where you don't tend to purchase kits, you just want to pick and piecemeal, you will be able to do that very soon. And of course, I will totally list on my community tab when that happens. But first, you need to know if they're going to be for you, right? So hopefully this video helps you do that. Let's get into it. All right, so let's dive into using the brushes. I cannot wait. I love a good brush moment. And I'm so excited, like I said, as Team Small Brush, I'm already feeling like these are going to be good to use. So before I get into using the first brush that we're going to use, which is the 115, I do want to just do a little comparison. I do have some B-roll of just like up close a bit more of the side by side of the other shapes. So you'll be able to see that, but more than just the shape, because we do have some similarities here. Obviously we have the 101. I also pulled out the A101. So this is an Angie Hot and Flashy's travel set. Similar shape, but they are a bit different. And then also our little 109. So the 101 honestly used to be my favorite foundation brush. However, I know that at one point the brand sort of like redid the brush, and at that point it just got to be a bit more flimsy and honestly just didn't, it just wasn't stealing my heart anymore. It's also a quite big brush. So I'm just Team Small Brush. I have to say I really prefer the, now I love a long handle, but the A101, if you can see here, so I feel like it actually has a slightly shorter bristle, but it is definitely much more dense, and it does have a bit of a different shape. Now, whoa, throwing brushes around. Now this one does, it's more used, right? So that does factor into it, but I like the density of this one. So I'm happy to report that the density of the new 115 is a bit closer to the A101. If you have that, or if you're looking for something that's a bit more dense than the 101, you'll be able to find that. The reason that I personally like that, it's not for the coverage. I don't prefer something that's higher coverage, although you are able to achieve that, especially if you prefer doing like a tapping motion. The reason I like it is I find that a denser brush causes less streaking. Sometimes I just find that with less dense bristles, of course what you have in between there is essentially air, right? Holes. So when you go like this with a less dense brush, you have hairs and holes, hairs and holes. So you're going to essentially be doing this, which can cause streaking. So if you have more hairs, you have less holes, and it's going to be less streaky. We are off to a good start, folks. So for today, what I decided to pull out to sort of check the streak factor, I guess, I'm going to actually use the light reflecting foundation from Nars. Now, also, I'm hoping that this is like a good winter shade for me. I think will be good. I'm going to use this. I'm going to mix in some moisturizer because I don't like it as high coverage as it is. That will also give us something that I think if it's going to streak, it will show it then. So that you can see here, I'm doing about 50-50. So equal parts moisturizer and the Nars foundation. By the way, I'm using my Nomad Air face cream. I love that, and it's almost gone. All right, so I'm just gonna put this on. A lot of this will just be clips, I think, of me. I don't know that I necessarily need to talk through this. You've all seen me put on foundation about a bajillion times if you are not new to my channel. If you are new to my channel, I really hope you'll subscribe. This brush gave me brows. No, obviously I'm just kidding. I did decide though, now that I have foundation on, that I could go ahead and get some brows as well. All right, so I definitely feel like this brush lays down product a bit more smoothly than the 101 does, and I love the small size. That is not a surprise to me. I am not surprised at all. The density I really enjoy. I think that that's going to add to the longevity of the brush. It definitely meant for a higher coverage moment if I wanted it. And I'm excited to try this with a tinted moisturizer or a lighter coverage product just to see if I need a little bit less in the areas that sometimes I like to build up, because I'll get a bit more coverage with this brush. So for those of you that are wondering, I do want to talk about this brush versus the Larifay F09 because you know that's one of my favorite foundation brushes. A similar shape. We have the 101 as the biggest brush, then the F09, and then the 115 is actually a bit smaller, definitely has shorter bristles. The F09 does have the longer bristles at the very end, and yeah, it's definitely more dense. Now, one thing that is good about having the longer bristles, I've talked about this when the 101 first came out, is you could, in a pinch, use that brush to apply your foundation and then tip it over and use that for your contour, for, you know, blending that out, because these longer bristles will wiggle a little bit more, and I feel give you a bit of a more blurred application. So I find the same with the F09. You can't necessarily get that as much with this brush. Like, I don't think that I would necessarily do that. You could, but it wouldn't be something that I would do. So the pros and cons of that. Other than that, I feel like that kind of goes over it. I do want to just compare it to the 109 as well. You know that I love this brush. This is the brush that I reach for whenever I'm doing cream blush. Like, this is one of my favorites because I just find that it packs color onto the skin without leaving it streaky, without pulling up my foundation from underneath. It's really pretty. You could use this one in a pinch, but because it is more dense, you're not going to get as blurred of a look. And it's going to leave more color. Like, you're going to get a higher impact color. So this could be a good one if you have a cream blush where you're like, man, I love this product, but I just wish that it was more. But I wouldn't use this, like, let's say for the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Flush Balms, because those really pack some babam. So this is still what I will choose for that. But you certainly could do that. You absolutely could do that. Now, the 114 is specifically meant to be a dual-sided concealer brush because you have the original core bristle that is great for liquids, and then this side here is meant for powders. So ideally, that's what you would use this brush for. I have to be honest. Now, in a pinch, like let's say I'm traveling or I'm going to be doing makeup on one client, I would maybe use a dual-sided brush like that. I just find, listen, there is no way that you are going to not get any powder on the cream side and vice versa, right? So for me, after one application, I feel like I would need, I mean, obviously between clients, I am washing brushes anyway. But if you're at home and you are not washing your brush every single day, I don't think that this is necessarily the best plan for this, because you're going to keep getting cream on the powder side, which means when you go to grab powder and put it on, it's going to kind of get like weird. That's just the only thing. I just don't prefer a brush like this. I've actually never used a flat paddle brush like this before to apply concealer. I guess I would say the closest thing, where is the brush from Nikki? Here we are. The closest thing I've used to apply concealer is the N16. That's obviously the one from Nikki LaRose with BK Beauty. It's It's still not my favorite way. It's still not my favorite way. I still prefer to use, I've got so many of these now, the A506, or I would go through with like a blending sponge. Those are my preferred ways. However, maybe I'm going to eat my words, so let's go ahead and use this. Just quickly, now I obviously was just talking about the N16, which is nothing like this brush, but Nikki's N17 is very similar in style with the dual-sided fibers and then also the shape. However, the 114 definitely has a much more pointed tip, so that's going to be great to get into areas like in the inner corner and things like that. The other brush that this is somewhat similar to is the 113. I'll be honest, I really don't use this brush that much. Flat paddle shapes, to me, I just don't use them that much. I can't remember the last time I used this brush. I just pulled it out to be able to show you. I am not going to lie. Okay, let's give this a go. I'm excited to try it. I'm all for trying new things. Maybe I will eat my words. Oh, let me just take a moment to say, while I am not usually one to apply concealer with a flat brush like this, I do love applying powder with a brush like this. However, the 113 is too dense. It's too dense. I just feel like I would get so much powder. My holy grail is the Wayne Goss. Of course, the Wayne Goss airbrush. You can't get this anymore. It's just so soft. It's so soft, and it has very light bristles, and it's not very dense. This is, I mean, very soft, but it is more dense. It's still more dense. There just isn't as much movement. So with this, I feel like you definitely have to pat and press. We're gonna see. I'm open to this, y'all. Maybe it will be my next favorite concealer brush. There's only one way to find out. All right, to test this out, you know I have to go through with the tried and true concealer. Let's go through with the Haus Labs Triclone concealer. I pulled out light golden. I just feel like that Nars foundation is a little bit more like yellow based, so we're gonna give this a go. Now I do like to put concealer under my eye and also on my eyelid in lieu of like an eye primer. I don't usually use an eye primer, and I just prefer a bit of coverage over like my veins, any darkness, things like that. So we're gonna use the core bristles here. And I'm not planning on doing a whole lot with my eyes today as far as eyeshadow goes. So on those days, I do like to take my concealer right up underneath the lash line. If I know that I'm going to be wearing a lower lash line look, I don't worry about that too much, just because putting on a cream, a powder, and then another powder, I'm like, you don't need to do that. If you're wearing something underneath the eye, it's just going to cover up any discoloration there anyway. Okay, that looks pretty good actually. I'm going to zoom you in here. I mean, it definitely worked. I feel like, and this just could be that it's not something that I'm used to, but I feel like it took a bit longer than using my kitten paw brush, of which the actual name, you know, Angie's brush. It took a little bit longer, but that again, I mean, I'm used to using that brush almost every day. But this is what I'm saying, like as I'm coming through here and I'm using technically the cream side of this brush, I just feel like some of the powder bristles are going to get a bit of cream on them. Like it's just going to happen. Also, I'm a Virgo. I'm the kind of girl who's like, don't let any of my foods touch on a plate. Like, I want the separation. I want to make sure that there is nothing going on. Nothing's touching anything that it's not supposed to touch. So it could just be me being a little bit picky about that, but that's just the way I feel. All right, we're gonna go through with another tried and true powder. Let's pull out the Hourglass Veil. And I'm just gonna take whatever is in the cap. You know that I try to use as little powder as possible. So usually with my airbrush, I pat, but then I'm able to sweep away any like excess powder. With this, I'm feeling a little bit of tugging. And when there's tugging, first of all, I don't want to tug my under eyes, but when there's tugging, I feel like that can disrupt the cream product. You know, like if you're pulling, you're running the risk of pulling off some of that cream. So I just like something that's a little bit looser. If you like something like this, then that is totally fine. Like oftentimes there's a lot of times that I'll use a puff and I will press the puff in, and then I will still go through like a really low density brush to be able to sweep away any excess. Now, could you also, if you're the person where you're like, okay, I want to put all this on, I'm going to do all my makeup, and then maybe you use a little bit of translucent setting powder at the end when you do that, could you just buff off any excess with that brush? Yes, sure, why not? But this is all more personal preference. Did this work? Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it looks very good. I feel like it did leave, it used more powder than the other method that I usually do. And that just only makes sense because anytime you are packing on, you are going to leave more product than you are if you are like using a swishing motion. We're going to go with those words. Yes, I am a professional makeup artist. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that being said, it really works. If this is the method that you enjoy doing, do I recommend this? Yes, absolutely. What do I think I will be using this for? I could see using this brush for concealer. I don't know that I would use it for powder. It's just not my preferred method. Now, if I was using a concealer though that was very emollient and I felt like I needed more powder to set it down, would I maybe use this to do so? Sure, absolutely. Okay, so the 116. I'm really excited to try this brush because again, team small brush all the way. The 106 for me, it just, I am a control freak. I like to be able to put product exactly where I want to, and I feel like this brush, especially once you sort of get the bristles going, you can get out of the area that you're trying to be in. It's a little harder. It's not like this is a huge brush, and a lot of you who are used to like a ginormo brush are probably like, Kelly, really? But I just like something a little smaller. I know Lisa said that a lot of people use this for cream contour. I would never. I would never. Would I use this? Sure. Maybe. Yeah, I could absolutely see doing it. I do think for the most part though, this is going to be blush and possibly bronzer. So I'm looking forward to the smaller size. They're about the same density. The bristles on the 116, the 106, sorry about that. The bristles on the 106 are a bit longer than the bristles on the 116. So that does mean also that you're not going to have quite as much buffing going on. Could be good, could be bad, depending on what you're looking for. Okay, what shall we use? Should we use some cream products? Yes, we should. Why not? You know, I love a good cream. Actually, first, let's go ahead and contour. I'm going to use the contour wand from Charlotte Tilbury. This is in my project use up for the year. We're not going to get there, y'all. I'm not going to lie. I kind of forgot about this one. And it just takes so little, but you know, I put forth a valiant effort, okay? So I'm going to use this just to give us a bit of shape. Now, I will say that this product blends out pretty darn easily. So we're sort of, you know, we're sort of phoning it in here as far as like what we could use with this brush, but if it didn't work, I would definitely know because this, I mean, this product blends in just by looking at it, I feel like half the time, as long as you blend it in fast enough. Okay, I like the feel of this and I like the density. I'm enjoying that. This is definitely for me going to be a cream brush. Like I don't think that I would necessarily use this for powder because I can just already tell that the density isn't what I prefer for powders. It's just a little bit more dense than what I prefer. I like something for powders, unless it's like a gelée formula that's a little harder to pick up. This would actually be really good for that. But most of the time with a powder, I want something that's a bit softer so I don't have to worry about grabbing too much and I can build and blend to my heart's desire. But this is doing really well for the cream. Okay, so now let's go in. I'm gonna pull out Corda Rosa, the cream one from Sigma, just to pop on something that, you know, I'm like, I don't really know where I'm going with my eye look today. So this is just such a great color. Kind of an everyday wear. Come on, baby hairs are getting excited here. They want to join the party. Yeah, this works great. And like I said, I just feel like the size of this brush is more suited to what I prefer. And if you have a small face, or if you prefer to wear really bright colors, but in strategic areas, you're going to really love this brush. It feels really good. It actually feels like the way that I'm able to stipple like this, it feels like a beauty sponge with bristles, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like this is just one of those like paw brushes. I feel like it has the very similar motion. I feel like it has a very similar feel to that. Yeah, very similar. Awesome. I want more blush. Who's surprised? Probably nobody. All right, lovely. I really like that. I think I'm gonna actually forgo powder on the rest of my face just because I feel like the light reflecting foundation actually sets down pretty well on its own, and I don't mind a glowier cream blush on my cheeks. Okay, so that's the brushes. 3 brushes. Usually I feel like when I'm doing these BK Beauty videos, there's like many. So that was it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and finish up my makeup and then we can wrap up. I'll give you some thoughts on this new kit from BK Beauty. Okay, hold on. I decided what I would do is I'm gonna see how this does. We're gonna put a bit of bronzer on with the 116. So this product, the RMS Redimension Hydro Bronzer, while it's not necessarily a gelée formula, it does have that consistency that sometimes needs a bit more effort to pick up. So I just used a microfiber cloth to clean off my brush here. I don't want to have cream on it when I go into my pan of bronzer. And we're just gonna see how this does with a powder. While I know that I won't use it with a powder, I feel like I'm doing you all a disservice if I don't at least try. See, here is the thing with a dense brush like this. So I'm still going to want to use it in a stippling motion, not in a buffing motion. And I am a buffer of powder products. Like as I started doing it, I feel so much pull, and not like in a bad way. It's not like it's like scratchy or anything like that. That's just what happens when you buff with a dense brush. These are all pretty dense brushes, and that's just not how I like to apply powders. Now, is this working fine using more of a, stippling motion with this? Sure. It's just not my preferred method. So if you're like me and you like a good buffing moment, I would stick to something that's a little looser than this. If you are like me and you love a cream, then you can use this for your cream. So definitely has a purpose. Okay, now we can get into my final thoughts. All right, lovelies, I hope you enjoyed this little review. All right, lovelies, I hope you enjoyed my little first impressions of the new, and that's just not how I like to apply powders. Now, is this working fine using more of a, stippling motion with this? Sure. It's just not my preferred method. So if you're like me and you like a good buffing moment, I would stick to something that's a little looser than this. If you are like me and you love a cream, then you can use this for your cream. So definitely has a purpose. All finished up, very quick and easy look. By the way, the rest of my face was done with things that I got on Black Friday. So, or at least through the Black Friday sales, let's face it. Most of the sales are happening before Black Friday. But if you do want to see what I got, that video is either going up right before or after this one. If it's already up, I'll have it linked. If not, it's coming very soon. So that being said, I really like the way that this turned out. All right, lovelies, I hope you enjoyed getting to see me use the new Core Complexion Trio from BK Beauty. Just to kind of round it up, I mean, first of all, if you are Team Small Brush, I think you're really going to enjoy these, especially if you already enjoy the similar shapes from BK Beauty, if you just want a little less real estate, you know what I'm saying? So when I think about these brushes, I can already tell you the 115 is definitely going to come in clutch for me. This, I can just tell, it's a really quality foundation brush. It's everything that I wanted out of the 101. Like as I continued to use the 101, it's like, I like this. I definitely like this one more. I have to say, while I don't reach for my 106 as much, I will definitely be reaching for the 116 more. I think it's going to be a good option for, like I said, cream products for me. I won't be using it for powders though. If you are primarily a powder user, I would say to skip on this one. Now, right now they are just a trio, like I mentioned, but in the future, in the next couple months, I think in the new year, it won't be too far into the new year, you should be able to get these individually. So the one for me that I know that just won't get a lot of love, and not because it isn't a good brush, it's just not the way I prefer to do my makeup, of course, is the 114. This is first impressions, like I said. If I change my mind, I'll definitely be using these more over the next few weeks. So check back for my favorites of next month, and I'll make sure to do an update. I'll make sure to include these in there just to let you know how I'm feeling. I could see this for concealer. I really could. It worked really well. It made everything look beautiful, but the powder side for me, it just isn't something, it's not the way I do makeup, and that is okay. But if it is the way you do your makeup, I think you would really like it. Everything's very soft. The pointed tip makes for some great precision. So thumbs up for me for that. So that being said, for $95 for these 3 brushes for this kit, and of course, like I mentioned, you can use my discount code, which is KEEPBEAUTYREAL. That is not affiliated, by the way. If you use that and you don't click my link, you're not participating in affiliateship if you don't believe in doing that. If you do click the link and you shop on BK Beauty, I do receive a small commission. So I just want to be clear on that. But if you are not thinking that you're going to use all 3 brushes, I would just wait until they are available individually. I definitely could see, I mean, definitely if I needed another foundation brush in my life, I would pick up an extra of this for sure. That isn't something I need. I have a lot of brushes. So I'm definitely glad to try these out. Let me know your thoughts down below. Also, let me know, how do you prefer to do your makeup? Do you use something like this? Would you use the 114 a lot? I would be very curious. Please, let's go ahead and start that conversation down below. If you have any questions about this trio, by the way, go ahead and leave a comment. I will be checking back so that I can answer any questions that you have. And again, thanks to BK Beauty for sending these over. I always appreciate brush day. You know that I love that. If you appreciate brush day as well, I have tons of brush reviews. I have lots, especially of BK Beauty. So I have a couple linked down in the description box as well. I think I also have a brushes playlist. So many brushes, all the brushes. We love brush talk around here. If you do too, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you really soon.